Okay, so I'd just like to ask you a quick question now. Head versus heart. This is quite an interesting question, and again, something that people don't usually think about in great depth. So I'm going to invite you to do that now. I'd like you to please let me know when you think it is that people think with their heart or when people think with their head. If you could just please pause the audio, the video now, and have a think about it. And when you're ready, when you've got the answer, when you think that you know the answer, then we'll carry on. But yeah, just have a think. Who thinks with their heart, and who thinks with their head, and when do they think with their heart, and when do they think with their head? And then we'll delve in a little bit deeper. Okay, just pause now then, and have a think of the answers. Thanks. So then, do you have the answer? I've asked this question to many hundreds of people throughout my training career, and it's quite a fun one, and I've had many mixed responses and mixed answers to it. Now, the common ones that usually come up when I ask when do people think with their head, usually problematic questions. When people are doing exams, obviously you think with your head. Assessing any sort of problem really, or doing any sort of exam, obviously people think with their head to problem solve. That's usually the most common one. Thinking with their heart, though, is a little bit different. The answers I tend to get then, and maybe you had the same, is perhaps when you're trying to find an ideal relationship partner, maybe your new boyfriend or new girlfriend. You think with your heart rather than your head, meaning they might not be ideal for you, but you really fancy them, you really like them in some sort of way, so you're thinking with your heart rather than logically thinking. Or another answer I tend to get as well is, for example, a mother's love for her children. She thinks with her heart in a caring way to look after them, to make sure they're safe, to make sure they're protected. And again, that can obviously be some logistics in there too, but it's more sort of thinking with her heart because it's like maternal instinct, for example. And another one with arguments as well, for example, jealousy. If somebody is jealous of their other half, then maybe their emotions kick in and they're thinking with their heart, not rationally, irrationally perhaps. They're getting upset, annoyed, so they're thinking with their heart more than with their head in that scenario. Now, the question is a bit sort of naughty of me, really, because the true thing is that we never think with our heart. Our heart doesn't think. All our heart does is pump blood. It's an organ. It never thinks at all. It is our head that thinks. We think with our brain. That is the only way that we can think. So the heart doesn't actually think at all. It was a trick question. But why then is it so commonly known, or such a common phrase, thinking with your heart rather than thinking with your head? Because it's known not just in English language, it's in pretty much every language too, and everybody understands what it means to say you're thinking with your heart. But why? Why do people say that when it's so categorically incorrect? Find out in the next module.